Hello, Tom Barnett here again with another story behind the illustration. Here one that nicely extends the imagery from the previous thread's illustration while suggesting, I think quite elegantly, the outcome of multipolarity. The obvious inspiration here is Star Trek and its prime directive, prohibiting a superior power from interfering in the natural evolution of a then subordinate power. To this economic determinist, that's a fine notion. Give the state in question the means for economic advance through marketization and export-driven growth, but don't dictate the political evolution, much less try to force it. That has to come on its own and through domestic means, namely the creation and the rise of a politically dominant middle class. As I note in the book, America has problems sticking with this sort of approach. We expect the politics to fall immediately into place once the economics take root, but that's just too damn impatient on our part. So America, as I say, is too much Captain Kirk with its penchant for meddling and interventions and invasions, and really not enough Mr. Spock. Sarah Nuttall's initial conceptual drawings were very focused on the implicit handoff between the already risen power and the next one up. So she gave us two runners passing a baton in a track race, or, in this bike imagery, mentor dad America seemingly teaching rising sun Japan how to ride, with presumably China, India, and others waiting in the background for their turn. Not bad in either instance, with the first one really attracting my attention as a former high school 4x200 relay runner. And I know we were fifth at Wisconsin State Meet in 1979. Still, in both instances, I felt the viewer/reader needed to figure out too much on their own. Discussion ensued, and we settled on a summiting image. I am personally obsessed with mountain climbing movies. And then there's that powerful image of climbers sticking their mini national flags in the ground at the top of Everest, a profound feat of endurance. And that's what Jim came up with. Again, using national flags as the character identifier, something I'm always kind of partial to. Jim's image even subtly repeats the sequencing laid out in the text. Way back in the day, there was Imperial Britain. Then the U.S. dominated post-World War II. Then Japan rose. Then China reached the top. And now we see India nearing the peak. There's even a callback to a truly old-school imperial power here. Not to be named, but to be noted as being long since kind of demoted from the superpower ranks, I guess. Again, the Red Team review saved us the embarrassment of getting India's flag wrong. I can just imagine how that would have gone over in New Delhi last February when I spoke there at the Global Business Summit attended by the Prime Minister. Yikes, I shudder at the thought. Which gets us to the final book version, which I think Jim achieves beautifully with a sort of 3D effect. You got kind of the peak in the foreground, the Indian climber just behind, and in the distance, those top-of-the-world clouds. Just a really evocative image, right down to the wear and tear progressively revealed on the previously placed flags. So a very evocative image with national sequencing clearly transmitted, right on target for this thread. And that's the story behind this illustration. As always, we love it when people buy the book, when they recommend the book, when they praise the book online. I and my Throughline colleagues, we feel very passionate about this work. Please consider subscribing to my Substack newsletter, and see you next time, next illustration.